We are here live, and oh my gosh, so good to drop in with all of you. Woo, there's so much going on in the world right now. I'm Marissa, and I have Caitlin and Scotty.
Hello.
And we're gonna share our intentions, and we'd love for you to drop in the comments what your intention is for showing up here. So to start, my intention for this open-hearted conversation is for healing and transformation on a global scale.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if you're jumping on, let us know you're here, where you're tuning in from. Now we're just beginning to share our intentions. And feel free, as we share our intentions, consider what is your intention for tuning in here. Get clear on your intention for being in this space. Why are you here? What brought you into this conversation? What brought you into this workshop? Like, what do you want to receive from this workshop? If you know about masculine and feminine energies, great. If you don't, what would you like to know? My intention for this heart-to-heart conversation is to be an example, of what is possible when we tune into ourself and learn how to balance our own masculine and feminine energies within ourselves. What that looks like, and to be the way, to guide, to lead by example of what's possible for men, and also what's possible for women, and developing that trust and that connection, that vulnerability with other men in their life. So that's my intention, to bring awareness to what more of a healthy, balanced, masculine figure looks like, as well as feminine figures in this space with Caitlin and Marissa, and just bringing awareness and light to those areas.
Love it. And my intention for tonight is to be a container and to receive what all of you are carrying right now, and just to listen and hear what you have to say and hear what you're wondering about and where you're at with things, as well as learn from whatever y'all got going on out there. I can't wait.
So just tuning into the comments, I love all the men in the house right now. There's a lot of men up in here. Thank you all for coming. We have Daniel, Jose, Juan, Garcia. Hello, friends. Amen. So yeah, if you're tuning in, if you're on live right now, let us know you're here. Let us know what you're here, where you're tuning in from, and what your intention is. What is your intention that you want to receive from this experience? What is your intention for being here? Go ahead, Marissa, flow it out, write it out.
Yes. Okay. So with that, oh my gosh, those are powerful intentions, guys. Like, we're just creating energy. And so let's start there with kind of, maybe people are hopping on and they're like, what is this? What is this woo-woo masculine, feminine energy? What are you guys talking about? And so I'd love to hear both from Caitlin, from your side of things, and then also Scotty, from your point of view. What is the feminine energy, and then what is the masculine energy? What does that look like?
For me, I've lived a pretty hyper-masculine life, and living in a hyper-masculine culture, it's been a journey figuring out what masculine and feminine looks like, especially when I come from a place where gender roles are such a big part of what I'm supposed to do, think, feel, desire, how I'm supposed to look, what I'm supposed to eat, how I'm supposed to do my hair, how much makeup I'm supposed to wear, how I'm supposed to hold my feelings, how I'm not supposed to hold my feelings. It's looked toxic on both ends, and it's looked incredibly healthy on both ends. And I've learned how to be productive and grounded and driven and motivated and logical and be able to implement steps to get to a goal. I guess on the flip side with the feminine, that's been a much more recent discovery. And in terms of feeling such a lacking in our culture of the feminine and leaning into feelings and taking time, taking a pause, that's so frowned upon in our culture. So for me, that's been a much more recent journey, diving in and sitting with what I feel and giving it space to be. That includes everything: being happy, being sad, being angry, being proud of myself, embracing how I look, embracing how I don't look, and learning to love and learning to lean into my nurturing nature, learning to lean into creativity and my sensuality and embracing sexuality. There's a lot of gender roles and stigmas around, if a girl has too much sex, she's a slut. If a dude has too much sex, he's a hero. Just learning to roll with it, and honestly, having a very not give a fuck attitude my whole life it's probably been a bit easier of a journey for me than it has been for a lot of other people, but balancing it is never going to be a thing I master. It's always a practice. It's always work. It's been really interesting to watch it all come full circle and how it's expanded my ability to give and my ability to be a container and my ability to do for the collective.
So this term masculine and feminine energy is new to me. I only learned about this like 3 or 4 years ago. It's very new to me. And I realized that, masculine is men, right? The men, qualities of men. Feminine energy is like the qualities typically of a woman, if we were to label that. And, for men, we are men are decisive, very decision makers, structure, strategy, have a plan, rational thinking, logical, analyzing, we got the things planned out, right? With, my experience of feminine energy within myself is learning to trust, let go of control, surrender, be more nurturing, self-care kind of for myself. Very intuitive. Women are highly intuitive. And we all are. So for me, growing up in a toxic household of a lot of violence, I only knew masculine energy. I only knew of hate and no feelings. There was no emotion. I wasn't able to express my emotion. There's no emotions being shared with me. It was just very do what you're told, do this, don't cry, be tough, push it through. And I gained a lot of hard work ethics from that, determination, perseverance, and it served me. But what happened just until the last few years, I was so emotionally disconnected to myself, to sharing my heart, what I was feeling. So because of that, I developed anxiety, a lot of anxiety. I was uncomfortable in social situations. I didn't know really how to converse with people about feelings and what am I experiencing, my pain and my hurts. I never felt safe, never had a safe place to express that. So I was totally, my feminine energy within myself was shut off. I don't want to talk about emotions. Keep that away from me. No, you can deal with it. You can work through it. So now in my journey, where I'm at is tapping into my emotional side, my emotional energy, my feminine qualities, trusting and being vulnerable, because in my experience, being vulnerable leads to deeper connection. Being vulnerable leads to deeper community, support, being supported, being seen, being understood, more compassion, more empathy. So I'm learning how to cultivate that within myself, as well as my masculine side is just there, but I'm tapping into my feminine energy to be more expressive, emotionally expressive, and having those relationships in my life that reflect all that around me. So that's kind of how I've learned about my masculine, my feminine energies, what that looks like, and being comfortable sharing myself with both men and women from my heart, leading from my heart.
And it's so perfect because what I was going to share, it piggybacks off of what both of you guys were talking about. And for me, I mean, it's literally been a journey from my head to my heart. Because for so long, I mean, in the education system, I was very much up in my head, and it served me like you spoke to, Scotty. I mean, salutatorian, giving the speech at graduation and going off to college and getting the good grades. It served me well, and yet here I am, just graduated end of May, and I realized how disillusioned I was with the world that I graduated into. The reality of, oh my gosh, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted. This isn't fulfilling to my soul. And so it has been this conscious shift of, okay, wow, feminine energy. First of all, that's a thing. And it's looked like me doing activities that I loved doing as a little girl, but along the journey, somewhere I decided somehow that it wasn't safe, or it was childish to engage in singing or dancing or even dressing up. Growing up with 3 brothers, it was like, I am going to be strong. I'm going to be just like them. But it's been so freeing as of late to allow myself to go there, to do those inner little girl Marissa things. And really at the root of it is coming back to my heart.
Marissa, I love how you said that, coming back to that little girl. For me, the little boy within me, because many people who are watching and many people in the world, a lot of us had lost our innocence at a young age due to trauma, due to abuse, due to things happening where we lost our innocence. Maybe we never had that safe space to be free and innocent like a child, totally playful and carefree and open and expressive. A lot of us, like in this country, maybe or you're watching, maybe that was shut down as a child, shut down as a teen. So really, it's developed these wounded parts of ourselves. We're just like big kids, like all of us, like we're all adults, but we're really just these adults, but big kids in these adult bodies. Like all of us just want to have fun and be free and, you know, play and be, of course, be responsible and all that. It's about returning to our innocence. Like Marissa says, like return that inner child, like be free, and my little boy, be free in that and be safe in that, and have people around us who will support the journey and support the process. Just like Amit shared in the comments, my intention is to connect with like-minded humans on this journey of self-discovery. Absolutely. Like-minded people, it's much more fun and safe, and we get to grow a lot faster. We grow and expand quickly. And to live a more fulfilling life by practicing balance, and to share this gift of a new way of life with others that may be seeking as well, a vessel of the message. Brother, you're speaking deep. I like it. I get it, but that's what we're all here to do. That's all what we all want, right?
Yeah, and you bringing up the innocence and then also speaking to the wounded feminine and or masculine, I think it's very timely, seeing what's going on in the world with COVID and with the elections. If you're in the US, we don't know what's going on half the time, and it brings up the trauma. And I think there is, at least for myself, I know there is this almost default to go into that wounded pattern and to those toxic traits. And so let's take time to speak to those, because obviously, like, it's a problem and it's affecting people in our world. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear tangible examples.
I think my job is such a perfect example. I work as a nurse. I guess I'm transitioning out, but I don't know how much more feminine energy you could call into one career. It is nurturing, it is healing, it is intuitive, it is so feminine, and it's crazy because I operate entirely in a masculine mindset when I'm there. You have to be tough, you can't feel anything. Your patient dies, you got to go to the next room. You got to watch patients die alone in COVID, and then you got to go to the next room and keep on going. And nobody is there to tell you that's fucked up. You just watched some really fucked up stuff. I'm really that has to be really hard. Let's talk about that. That doesn't exist. We have to create it for ourselves. We have to create that container. No one's out there acknowledging that. We're just go, 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 do. And it's just, and then we have something like COVID where we are forced to sit down. We are forced to sit with our feelings. We are forced to be at home and inward and confront shit that doesn't feel good. There's nothing, you can't just run and do all your easy exits in life anymore. You are sitting in it. It is raw. It is hard. And it's so important to honor what COVID has given us. It's as hard as it is, it's been a forced container for you to sit with your feelings, for you to lean into the feminine. And as much shit as I see on Facebook and social media, I'm also seeing people educating themselves, giving each other support. Groups are being created, circles are being created because the feminine is coming and the feminine is demanding its presence, and it's time to create something new. Out of all that's happening, creation is happening. You can't just walk into work anymore. You can't walk into a packed office. You have to get on Zoom. You have to wash your groceries. Now you got to order shit online now. You got to do all the things differently. That's the feminine. We're getting creative. We are tapping in, and we can't just run at things right now. And we're all like, well, what do we do? We can't just go and do. We can't just be in our masculine all the time. Our feelings are coming up. What the hell are we supposed to do with this? What do I do? Who do I turn to and who can help me? People are checking out of Zoom calls left and right. People are just turning off work in the middle of the day because they are overwhelmed. And we have been in such high productivity mode, and we have been, in productivity mode in every system, in healthcare, in education, in our personal life, even in terms of like our sensuality and sexuality. We've been hyper masculinized, and now relationships. You're stuck in your house with your people. Is that divorce, or is that, the thing that brings you together? It's just been a huge magnifying glass on how obsessed we have become with being in control, with being powerful, with being productive, and how far away we have gotten from taking a fucking minute, just a minute, to say, what do I feel? How do I sit in anger and sadness while also feeling joy and connection? And we operate in this system where the labels and gender roles and party roles and everything else are being told to us, and we aren't tapping in and being intuitive to what it actually means for us.
This being a time where the pandemic is happening, and this election and the Black Lives Matter movement, all this happening out of our control, out of everyone's control. Like, can you guys relate to that, where the emotions are starting to surface, really surfacing? Yeah, we're having to sit in all the stuff that's coming up, and that's the feminine energy, is the ability to feel and to nurture, to care, to surrender, be paid, like trust and let go. As Caitlin said, like in this country, in this world, like it's been so hyper masculine about doing, expanding, like doing, rush, push, force, manipulation, control, greed. That's the hyper masculine qualities of the masculine energy, is using the power of the masculine to abuse power, control, greed, manipulation, to cause division, separation, and conquer. And that's what's happening in our country, is, I won't get to it, but to divide, to conquer, to separate all of us. If we were all to come together as human beings, tapping into ourselves, coming together in balance and harmony, we would be one powerful force that would not be able to be controlled.
We are born knowing all these things, and every step we take in the world is a chink in that, and a little layered of bullshit added on. And as an adult, as a conscious adult, it's our job to pull off all those layers and go back to what we were born knowing, and go back to what we already know is the truth. And that is what makes us powerful. That is what makes us a united force. And that is exactly what all three of us have in our own businesses and our own lives, to empower people to remember where they come from, and remember, you do get to have a say in this. This is your journey.
Just speaking to that, maybe this is also another term. Maybe some of you on here never heard the term inner child before. Maybe some of you are like, wait, what inner child? You're an adult, like there's no inner child. But think about it. Take a moment and think about it. Your experience, your body, when you're 2 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, you're that same body, right? Like you're the same human, you're the same spirit. Your body, our physical body, has just grown into whatever age you are. Like for me, I'm age 30, so my body's 30 years old, but the same child that I was when I was 2 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, that experience of being a child lives within me. So my inner child, for example, if I witness a lot of abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and there was a lot of chaos around me, and there was a lot of adventure too. There was times of adventure and good times. However, typically negative experiences, when they happen so much, they outweigh the positive experience typically. And for me, my inner child, like when I was 5 years old, 8 years old, things were happening around me, to me, and I'm wondering why. There's no communication, no understanding, no reasoning, no reassurance. That leaves me as the inner child. What I chose at that time when I was 5 or 8 was, okay, I'm gonna close myself off. People are scary. I don't trust people. People are mean. hate. I need to protect myself by being angry, by being hateful. I need to fight. I need to fight for my life. I need to fight for my safety. I need to fight for respect. Someone looks me in my eyes, I need to fight. That's intimidating. I'm surviving. So I'm in survival mode. And that's just my experience of like being an inner child, like what that work has done for me. Now, with a few years of inner work and reparenting myself, as Amit said, reparenting my inner child, like allowing my inner child like to be more open, to be more expressive, to learn how to share my emotions, to share, like that has been one of my deepest medicines, to open up my heart, to like trust people are safe, the world is safe, I'm safe, and learning how to feel safe in my emotion. And because of that, in the last few years, definitely like this year, there's been a lot of tears, a lot of crying, emotional releases, because I'm finally in a place where I can just go to that pain, that hurt within me, and allow it to move through. Just allow it to move through. Like Caitlin said, like cry, do your thing, and move through it. But when we repress, when we suppress, repress, shove it down, and push and push and push, and are hypermasculine, that's when anxiety happens, depression, panic attacks, ADHD, restlessness, inability to sleep, confusion, doubt, like all that is a surface level stuff because of what's happening internally. And a lot of inner child stuff, a lot of inner child work.
And I want to go back here in the comments to what Nicole said when we were talking about the inner child and how, the gift her daughter has brought her and seeing the world through her daughter's eyes. It's just living in the present moment. Such a gift for all the parents out there.
I do love what my aunt said, Lisa, about the concept of coming back to your core. It resonates, but being isolated during COVID has been an opportunity to get back to the self without putting a mask out in the world every day. It's so true. When you're sitting there in your sweatpants with no bra every day, you get to be in touch with all kinds of parts of you that you didn't get to be when you had your makeup on and your hair done and owning your masculine face out there in your power suit. Like it's totally different.
I just love, Kaylin, how you have two family members on here, so totally in support and tuning into this conversation. That's amazing.
There's a few.
Yeah, and the same thing. Yeah, kids are just great reminders. That's Pete. I believe that's your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Like miniature adult, like both child and a miniature adult, trying to figure out how to get back to that level of innocent fun. Yeah, that's not devoid of the knowledge of the world that's already been absorbed. Without being jaded to the world, watching a 7-year-old live is a great window back to the childlike quality of the human condition.
Yeah.
You have so much wisdom. Yeah. I go to these drum circles every Wednesday and I love seeing these 4-year-olds, 6 years old, 7 years old going into the middle of the drum circle and jumping, dancing. And when that happens, I watch these two little girls, their sisters, they do that, then everyone else starts to follow. Like these little girls go in the middle, they dance and they jump around, and then it raises the energy. It gives other people, the adults, including myself, permission to dance and be free and be fun. And it's so much fun watching kids because that's a part of us that's being activated and awakened.
And he was in there all along. It's just been suppressed, or we've, somewhere along the way we figured out, maybe it's not safe to be uninhibited and to express myself this way, so I'm going to shut that down.
And I think we're experiencing so much of that in the current climate of people have been trying to use their voice for a long time. And there's a very specific group of people in power that aren't listening. They're not leaning in. They're thinking in their fear-based scarcity mentality, thinking of everything as a pie, where if I give to you, I'm losing out myself. When you speak up and you tell me about your pain, we don't really lean into our own empathy with that pain. We stop trying to relate to it because it doesn't feel good, and we want to be comfortable. We want to be in our safe zone. And I think that is a huge concept of the wounded feminine right now, and the repressed feminine, and why the collective is hurting so bad. And it's a thing that I'm super passionate about. When I hear my people that are in the minority tell me about their struggle, that tugs on me, that calls me to action, that motivates me. Whereas so many people are shut down by that. People don't want to look at it and acknowledge it because it doesn't feel good to admit that you're an asshole. It doesn't feel good to admit that you could have done something better. It's hard. And it's a hard reality to grasp inside yourself. And it's super important to lean in when somebody tells you something painful. Feel what that feels like. Empathize with that. We all are capable of feeling that. And that's how ultimately we collectively work to level the playing field and bring everyone to the equal space where we can be happy, we can be heard, we can be helped. And it doesn't become this group is always in the background, this group is always needing help, this group is always asking for a handout. It becomes, today this person needs help and I have the space to help, and tomorrow I need help and this person can help me. It just becomes a circle instead of a hierarchy of people and success.
And that's what's possible, right? When we achieve that within ourselves, the balance and harmony within our own masculine and feminine, being able to express emotion, express how we feel, the pain, the hurts, and also receive other people in that regard. That creates the unity, the balance and connection, harmony. Marissa, do you want to share a couple opportunities to like, what are solutions? Like how do we deepen our practice? What do we do? Like, okay, this all sounds great, I'm all in. What do I do from here?
Well, I know something we talked about that's been powerful for us is community, and having that tribe of people around you who are going to support you on this healing journey, because it very much starts with changing and healing your inner world, right? Because we see it's easy to look out at the outer world and like blame it. It's like, oh, it's out there, and not have to deal with your stuff. But it starts with your emotions and what's going on here in the head and the heart. And so I'd love for the two of you, I'll cap it at the end, but I'd love for the two of you to share what communities you have and what you offer.
Yeah, community. That's been important for me to be able to show up in all of myself, show up however I'm feeling. If there's some pain, if there's grief, sadness, depression that I'm feeling, and I have a tribe to go to every week, every other week, with the intention of being authentic, being transparent, and going there to be deepen my connection to support. It's like I go show up in my tribe, with my people, and it's a place for me to just share whatever's heavy on my heart, whatever I've been struggling with, or celebrate. Even celebration as men, when we're hyper masculine, it's hard to celebrate. We don't celebrate ourselves. I know I've done this for a long time. I don't celebrate my wins. I don't celebrate my victories because I'm already thinking on the next thing. Like, Caitlin, you resonate with that too?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people on here resonate. How many of you are hard on yourself and don't celebrate your accomplishments and achievements, because your mind, once you achieve something, you're already on to the next goal, the next desire, the next vision. It's like a place to celebrate joy, to be joy and fun. Like, that's a big practice for me. So for me, it's I run Awaken Your Life community. I have a free Facebook group called Awaken Your Life, and it's a community to help you overcome your self-sabotaging patterns so you could confidently live in your purpose and in your potential. So in this community, I share weekly trainings, and also starting in 2 weeks, but starting a bi-weekly tribe meetup, bi-weekly tribe gathering. Starting next week, it's 60 minutes. I open up, I facilitate with a little bit of breath work, meditation, and then it's open. It's open. We're all there equally to share, to connect, to relate to each other, and to support one another.
Caitlin, what do you got going on?
I just launched Olive Recovery Room online, and in Recovery Room, we offer lots of healing modalities, but I also just launched our own group in Recovery Room called Soul Rounds. So because I'm a nurse, most of what I do has a healthcare background theme running. You don't have to know healthcare to participate or anything, but it is a container for us to listen and just hold space and be heard and seen. And it can be in the political climate, it can be in Black Lives Matter climate, it can be pride. It can be whatever it is that you're up against, just needing a space to feel like your voice is being heard. It's meant to empower. And I'm actually looking into creating a group empowerment mindset set of sessions I'm just feeling lots of, especially being here where I'm at home right now, I'm just feeling a lot of need for people feeling back in their power. So I'm looking at building that, so more to come on that. But check out Soul Rounds, the Facebook group. It's a free group. And there will be workshops and breathwork and yoga being offered, and you get discounts and VIP for being in the group. So check it out. Come use your voice, use the platform, make a difference, collaborate. Let's work together.
Yes, we are stronger together and more powerful. So good. We'll be sure to put these links in the comments too, so that you guys can come back to it. But yeah, I have a free Facebook group, and it's for women specifically. It's called Heart Space, and it's exactly what we've been talking about. It's a space for you to be held and supported in the lows, but also to celebrate the highs, and that tribe, that community of support. And it's so perfect because tomorrow I'm actually co-hosting my first ever community care circle. It's essentially taking self-care, like individual self-care, to a collective scale, right? Because that's cool that you do self-care on your own, but also you don't have to do it alone. We are here to support each other and to heal one another. And so it's receiving the love and care that you need, but also giving the love and care that you can.
Once we're done here, we'll post that link in the comments as well for the event. And if you are interested, just drop a comment like, I want to know more, or I'm curious. Let us know, and then we'll reach out to you, sending the link directly to you. With all that being said, if you have any last minute questions, feel free to drop them here, but we're gonna close out. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for being here with all of us with this heart-to-heart conversation. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be in touch soon. Much appreciation to all of you. Feel free to tag friends, share this video, hey man, you need to hear this video, tune in. I know it's 50 minutes or however long it's been, but it's worth it. Yes. Tag them.
Yes,
share this message out. Spread it, spread the love.